Good morning. It is the Dual Ranters on a Saturday morning. And Robin, say hello to the people.
Yes, you know the deal, man. It's your boy Sports and Fitness Rants. It's the czar of video footage. AOH, man. We're back with another dual rant for all you guys out there. I see you guys already in the chat, man. Shout out to Renee43. Shout out to The Catch. Shout out to Ill94, man. Shout out to everybody that already came through, man. Shout out to everybody that's going to continue to come through. You guys know the deal. You guys know what we're going to do out here, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Let's roll.
And before this started, I saw a couple of members joined. Somehow that was in the chat feed. Thank you. Welcome. And Renee, always here early. 94 says right on, or Renee says right on time. Yep. Yeah, that's what we try to be on time when I'm hosting. And let's see. Who was more successful, AD and LeBron or Kobe and Paul Gasol? You know, Pau Gasol. That's a question for Scap, so I can just make fun of his answer. But what do you think, Robin? We'll entertain some questions. We'll entertain some chats with the early birds. Reward the early birds for being in here. I've got a long list of topics ahead, and I'm going to want everybody's feedback on them. So, but Robin, go ahead and reply to that.
Yes, absolutely, for real. Shout out to everybody that's already coming through early, and that's a great conversation. That's a great question to ask, and I think that we can clearly state that what Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol were able to do together, I think, is absolutely far superior and more impressive, let's say, than what LeBron James and Anthony Davis were able to accomplish, during the time that they were together. Let's not forget how many games Anthony Davis and LeBron James both missed during that time. And really, the only championship that they were accredited for is the 2020 Bubble Championship, with no one really respects. So I think Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol's championships were absolutely more respected. And once again, they went back to backs. So I think what they did was absolutely more impressive.
It's actually a terrible question. Maybe he was kidding. It's the fucking bubble ring. I think you must have been kidding.
It's a great way to start off the conversation out here, today on the dual rants.
Well, this is the way the NBA's become. You don't know when someone's being serious or if they're joking. Particularly the professional sports analysts. Freaking clowns. All of them are clowns. Salute to everybody coming in.
Shout out to Classic Basketball DVDs. Shout out to Import. Shout out to King's Speech Road. I see you guys already out here, man. McZuggins, man. Shout out to all you guys. AP 530. What up, man? Thank you guys for coming through early, man. We really appreciate it. Armand Smith, what's up?
King Speech, what are you talking about? All of a sudden, the Luka Braun Lakers are not contenders. I'm shocked. See, this is how they flip flop. Because one of the things I was going to talk about was Shannon Sharp, who just spews stupidity constantly. I thought he said that he was guaranteeing it. I thought he said that they were contenders, which, by the way, they weren't contenders because LeBron was added to a team. They're contenders because someone else was added to the team.
Right. And that's a great point, AOH. That's a great point that you're bringing up right there, because I think that's the reality that the LeBron James fans, they need to come to terms with. That all of a sudden now the Lakers might do something. And why is that? Because of Luka Doncic. He brings that level there. All of a sudden now people start to feel like the Lakers could do something. The same way that people were talking when Anthony Davis was there. This is what we were talking about. They were trying to make it seem as if it was LeBron James that was the best player on that team, and that the Lakers were winning games because of LeBron James. And what did we state, and what have we been stating? They were winning games despite LeBron James. That's why when you're a negative 130 and your team is still above 500, it's not because of you. It's despite you. It's because the other guys around you, like Anthony Davis, that were picking up the slack for LeBron James on the defensive end. Like we've seen the video footage, once again, the czar highlights constantly out there for you guys.
Yeah, and I've actually been slacking on my videos. Guys, real world stuff has called my name. This is why, but I tell you what, I'm trying to make it up to you with a bunch of lives. Robin is going to come back with me Monday morning and Wednesday morning. We've got double live shows coming to you, and the usual Sunday panel hosted by Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best is tomorrow morning. So a bunch of live shows coming your way. We hope that you'll be there, and no doubt there will be constant stupidity and drama coming from the NBA for us to all talk about. And let's see. Robin, I don't know why, but you can always read these comments better than me. What else we got going in there?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I do it off my phone, and sometimes it's easier for me to see something to scroll through. But yeah, like I said, everyone's basically shouting us out. They mentioned some of the things. They're making some comments based on what we've been saying. Someone mentioned, was it Ubiquitous 34? I think I jacked his name up, but he mentioned the Utah Jazz loss. See, I was talking about the Utah Jazz loss earlier and about the Lakers, and I always mention the word consistency on my channel. And I always mention how the LeBron James led teams are not consistent. And that's why he's 4-6 in the finals. It all trickles down. And that's the culmination of all the inconsistency. So during the regular season, you'll have many scenarios throughout LeBron James' career where his team is expected to win a certain amount of games, let's say, and the team doesn't win that amount of games. And why is that? Because the inconsistent nature of LeBron James teams, the load managing, the lack of defense, that hurts your team and forces your team to be inconsistent. That game against the Utah Jazz, man, is a classic case of a team that the LeBron James Lakers should have been out there and win. You had Luka Doncic and LeBron James on the court against the 13-win Utah Jazz, who actually only had 12 wins up until that point, and you go out there on the road and lay an egg. That's the inconsistent nature of LeBron James teams, man.
Hey, let me ask a question. Someone pointed out that my mic was off and I changed it. Does it sound better? Anyway, let me know. Thank you for pointing that out, guys. I don't know why this thing defaults back to the wrong microphone, but thanks for catching that.
Yeah, shout out to old school NBA fan, Wavy Thomas. He says this era of NBA is weak now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Adidas 20. He's been a member, I guess, on your joint for a while. AP 530. See, a lot of these people are expressing the sentiments that we've been talking about. They don't even enjoy watching the game anymore. And what's going to happen this weekend, guys? That's what we're going to talk about. What's going to happen this weekend with the All-Star weekend? And it's not the same. It hasn't been the same.
I tell you, I tried to watch a little bit of last night just so I could tell people that I gave it a try. And good God. I mean, I tell you what, that crowd couldn't have sounded less interested. That was so sad. That is not what All-Star games used to sound like. The crowds used to sound like. And, they're introducing the Rising Stars guys, and it must have been 15 minutes before I even recognized anybody. I think the first name I recognized was Jaime from the Heat. But you know what else was funny is even these Rising Stars guys had chosen for the team, but will not be playing due to injury. And I'm like, God damn, nobody wants to play. Nobody wants to play. Even the Rising Stars don't feel the need to prove themselves.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a shame, that these kinds of things are going on. And, that's the reality that we're talking about. When we speak about that lack of the love of the game, that affects everything. It's a cancer out there in the NBA and for basketball. When you talk about some of these guys not, willing to go out there and really go out there for the All-Star weekend, like I said, back in the day, the sentiment was that the players wanted to go out there and put on a show for the people. That's what the All-Star game was. It was a platform for those guys to go out there and showcase themselves, to basically go out there and brag about themselves and put on a show for the people out there. That's why they were going out there. It was All-Star weekend. This didn't count to the regular season. This didn't help you win a championship. Going and winning and competing in the slam dunk contest had no impact on you in the playoffs. You were going out there literally to showcase yourself for the people that are watching you. That's why you were going out there. So you wanted to put on a show. And that's
hey, man, why are you always yelling?
Celebration.
Why are you always yelling, man?
I'm trying to wake everybody up out there. Like you said, the people out there on the West Coast that are just tuning in, wake up, man. Turn the volume up. You guys know the deal, man. It's the passion that we have for these kinds of things that were going on.
I actually felt a little bit bad about that Braun fan who came on. He was trying to act a little bit civil. I was gonna let him actually get out his point just so I could ask him a question back to make my point. But I also appreciate you annihilating him and then cutting him off. So that works. Either one works.
Listen, I don't like when people bring up the general manager in a Michael Jordan debate. You cannot bring up the general manager, man. I said, unless what? What did I ask him? I asked him a simple question. See, all I ask is for people to answer the question. Once again, you can't come on asking a question or answering a question with the question. And I want them to tell me the GMs of all of those other great teams, of all the other dynasties. If he can blurt the names of all the GMs out of the Celtics in the 80s, or the Celtics in the 60s, or the Lakers in the 70s, or the Lakers of the 80s, or the Pistons of the 80s, or the Spurs of the 2000s, or the Lakers of the 2000s, you can tell me any of them GMs on the top of your head, and you can tell me their impact on the team and how it was them. Then you can have your GM talk. Don't come at me with Jerry Krause talk when we're talking about Michael Jordan versus other players and how that's relevant, man. They sound ridiculous. I will not allow that.
It's just another example. Nothing's gone right in LeBron's life, and everything just happened to go perfectly for Michael Jordan. What I say last time, if everyone else is the asshole, at some point you have to realize that you're the asshole. You know, it's actually more sensible to make the argument that because Michael Jordan was present, the team and the teammates improved, and he made Jerry Krause look good. I mean, Jerry Krause did what he could to destroy that team, and he inherited Michael Jordan. He doesn't get credit for Michael Jordan. So what's the other big pickup? Scottie Pippen, who probably would have just come in and out of the league without turning many heads if not having been on Jordan's team. But that's a wormhole. I'm not going to piss people off with. I've done entire episodes breaking down both Krause and Pippen. But Woodage says Max Christie has averaged 17 points per game since joining the Mavs. Yeah, I mean, who hasn't improved once they've gotten out from underneath LeBron's shadow? When is that not the case?
Right. That's the narrative right there being stricken down once again. That, LeBron James maximizes everybody, or he makes people around him better, think you're a better version of yourself when you're around LeBron James. That doesn't seem to be the case. I don't see anyone being the best version of themselves on or off the court when they're with LeBron James. In fact, we have evidence of guys actually receiving death threats playing alongside LeBron James. Never seen that in the history of the game. You play with LeBron James, you miss a shot, you don't play good, LeBron James blames you. They don't win the championship, you get death threats.
Yeah, and did LeBron ever come to the rescue of those people? Did he ever stand up for those people? He just stands to the side.
Anthony Davis led the NBA playoffs in points and in win shares. Points and in win shares, the NBA playoffs. And I'm not big on stats and all this, but damn it, Scottie Pippen ain't sniffing that in the postseason. Anthony Davis did that in 2020 en route to a championship. So he was literally carrying LeBron James in points, scoring all the points for the Lakers throughout the postseason. This man had a game winner in the Western Conference Finals. I believe it was game 2 over Nikola Jokic. That was what Anthony Davis was doing out there. He was playing a role. Once again, this is what he was doing. He has no credit for that, though. They want to talk about Scottie Pippen. He ain't making the guys around him better. They're saving him. Anthony Davis saved LeBron James in L.A.
Adidas 20 with a $2 super thanks says the most overrated player ever. He also became a member. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome. Jay Gunn. No, Michael Knight. Is that a PBR? It is, because this is my non-drinking day. This is water. This is basically water. I'm hydrating. I think
you had a couple of super chats. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw another one. Maybe I'm off.
Yeah, go ahead and holler them out. Let me tell people some of the topics I'd like to get to. In my members section, I did do a reaction to you talking about Embiid passing up that open shot and turning the ball over. I knew I had to go and look at it when you couldn't even finish. You couldn't even finish saying his name without laughing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go look at this footage. That was some embarrassing crap.
Ooh,
I wanted to ask you, everybody's talking about the Luka AD trade, but any thoughts on the Middleton and Kuzma trade? And along with that trade, which affects you slightly as a Knicks guy, Jericho Sims and Delon Wright switched. Any feelings? Do you care? Does that matter to you?
No, I mean, listen, when we talk about the New York Knicks, let's say, the thing for the New York Knicks is, once again, it's Karl Anthony Towns. Everything is riding on him. What's he going to do? They got rid of Julius Randle, which we're all happy for. I was never really a fan of Julius Randle as a number 1 or a number 2 guy. To me, he's a role player, man. You know what I'm saying? That's to me who he was. He never really won anything. No knock on him. But you get Karl Anthony Towns, the Knicks, everything rides on him and Jalen Brunson. The other guys around them, these guys are always hurt, a lot of these guys. They have a lot of health problems in the Knicks over the last couple of years. But everything's on Karl Anthony Towns. Let me see what he does. As far as Kuzma and Chris Middleton goes, I mean, I think that's a win for the Milwaukee Bucks. Is it a win as far as the talent goes? No, I think Chris Middleton is a better player. The problem for Chris Middleton, he's never on the court. At least Kyle Kuzma's there. He's on the court. He's going to be available more often than Chris Middleton is. Chris Middleton is never there. Chris Middleton's a really good player, but once again, the asterisk is when he is there. So I think that the Bucks did what they had to do. They were not going to get anything from a Chris Middleton this season, and I believe that move was for this season. Are they going to have Kyle Kuzma there next year or going down the line? I don't know. I don't know the contract situations and, things of that nature. But as far as, the New York Knicks go, like I said, it's all on Karl Anthony Towns, man.
Yeah, and what was the Knicks' identity during the playoffs last year? They were gritty, they were tough, they were hustling, and I don't think that Karl Anthony Towns fits that. He's pretty soft enough that I was going to ask you if you would take Towns or Embiid, but at this point, I think you pretty much have to take Towns. Like Embiid is just despicable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, once again, I'm not saying that Knicks should get rid of Karl Anthony Towns. I've never said they should trade him, get rid of this guy, or anything like that. What I'm saying is that Karl Anthony Towns in his career, he has a reputation now of never producing when it matters most. In the postseason, remember when Jimmy Butler was there some years back, Jimmy Butler was calling him soft and saying that he wasn't, like that. There's Jimmy Butler telling you this. And we all see what Jimmy Butler has turned into. So the knock on Karl Anthony Towns has always been that he hasn't been there in the postseason. He hasn't been there when it mattered most. So it's all on him. He has to be the number 1 guy. Jalen Brunson can't be the number 1 guy in the postseason. He doesn't have the stature to be the number 1 guy. It has to be Karl Anthony Towns, man. But you absolutely take him over Joel Embiid, who, once again, never on the court. Give me the guy who's going to at least be on the court than the guy who's not. But what do we see from Karl Anthony Towns? He'll put up 40 points against the Wizards. He'll play big against the Charlotte Hornets. But when a quality team comes in, he scores 17.
Jay Gunn, what are you mad about? What question did I not answer? Yeah, put it back up. Something about not going after the people that allow it to happen. Well, that doesn't describe me. I'm always calling out the people.
Oh,
That's
Adam
all
Silver.
about.
You talking about Adam Silver?
Everyone, accountability. You look at the top. You look at who allows everyone underneath of them to behave in a certain manner. And you could say Adam Silver, you can say the GM, you can say the coach. And then when LeBron James is sometimes called the coach and the GM, and the leader of the team, then absolutely you're going to look at him too. I don't know how he escapes that, but I don't let anyone off the hook.
But I always tell people, listen, man, Adam Silver he's part of the problem, but he's not the problem, guys. Adam Silver is not the main problem. The main problem is the players, guys. You think about the All-Star game. It's a perfect example of that. Why is the All-Star game crap? It has nothing to do with Adam Silver, guys. It has to do with these fools out here, man. These idiots out here goofing up the game so much that they had them come up with what gimmicks for it. And they had to come with team captains. So you had Team LeBron versus Team Giannis versus Team Steph. First Team Durant. Like, that's when it started to be ridiculous. And why did it get that way? Because it became a gimmick. Everything in the NBA became a gimmick. You got a play-in tournament. That's not just on Adam Silver. He's responding and reacting to these goofs. They came up with a league minimum, guys. 65 games. We think it's soft. I think it's soft. But why? Why'd they do that? Because players. The players.
So, speaking of how soft the league is, I had a question that I wanted to ask people. It was like, because we got the Lakers on a back-to-back against the Jazz, who are a farming team for the Lakers, and yet the Lakers couldn't beat them. They beat them one night, and then they get destroyed by them the next night. I don't understand. Like, I can't even get excited or happy about it because it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what to make of this league from one night to the next. So
remember, they keep saying how it's a player empowerment, right? The players empowered.
Well, the question I have is the Lakers lineup, is their schedule that easy? Because it seems like it's crazy easy. Or is the entire league just that bad now to where good luck getting a good matchup? Like, I don't take that many teams in the West seriously. I saw that the Grizzlies are number 2, which disturbs me a little bit. I don't have any faith in the Grizzlies, even if they are number 2. But then again, someone can educate me about why I should have faith in the Grizzlies. Are you watching the Grizzlies? I don't see them on TV much.
Listen, the Grizzlies are another example of a problem in the NBA. When we talk about the word consistency and we talk about the blowouts, right? You talked about AOH, how every night you never know. It's 30-point losses, 40-point losses. The Grizzlies are one of those teams. And why are the Grizzlies like that? Because of their star player is never there. I mean, my goodness, think about the guys we just mentioned. We just mentioned Joel Embiid. We just mentioned some of these other guys that we mentioned. And why are the team struggling? Because they're not there. They're not on the court. So if John Morant's not there more often than he is, which goes to the word consistency, then your team is winning games and then they're getting blown out some nights. It's really, once again, it's weird to watch the NBA and really think like, oh, this team is going to win a championship or they're going to compete, because you don't even know when the postseason comes who's going to be available. Remember how many guys were out last year in the postseason? That's why we laughed at the Boston Celtics championship. Who did they beat to get to the finals? Every team that they played, the New York Knicks, that they didn't even play the Knicks because why? The Knicks had injuries, lost to the Indiana Pacers because half their team was injured. The same thing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, had injuries, right? The Milwaukee Bucks didn't have Giannis. So what are you talking about?
What was my one request with that AD LeBron trade? AD, just stay healthy so we at least can find out by watching whether or not it is going to end up being good for the Mavs. You know, maybe because we've given Anthony Davis a lot of praise for his two-way play on the court. I just wanted to see if he could really do something for the Mavs and make it interesting. And nope. I mean, can I watch the freaking basketball players play basketball once? Can I watch a team that consists of certain players actually play another team consisting of players instead of everybody falling off? And every year it's, oh, we're going up a depleted so-and-so and a depleted so-and-so and a depleted so-and-so.
Yeah, because AOH, think about it. If they're talking in terms of guys being careful with themselves during the regular season, then why are they doing that? Why is load managing a thing, or a quote unquote load managing a thing? It was supposed to prepare teams that were going to be going on postseason runs, or were known for making deep postseason runs. So what does that mean? That the guys are there. They're playing games. They're not missing the postseason games. How are y'all load managing and then still missing postseason games? It ain't adding up. So either play all of the games in the regular season and then blame it on that why you didn't play in the postseason, or don't play games in the regular season and make sure your butt stay in the game in the postseason. But instead, every year, you don't know. Zion Williamson hasn't played last year. Jimmy Butler didn't play last year. Like I said, Giannis didn't play last year. Donovan Mitchell missed games last year. A bunch of guys missed games in the postseason. These guys are not prepared, but they're
like
supposed to be bigger, stronger, faster.
The Rising Stars games couldn't even get people to play. And I want to circle back to Shannon Sharp, who blurted out that the Lakers were instantly contenders, and Brian Windhorse got upset about it. But I think Windhorse got upset about it because when you say something like that, then you don't give that escape route for LeBron and LeBron fans. It's like, hey, these guys said that you're contenders now, so you better not screw up. Usually they have an escape route for LeBron. You know, they start the excuse train before the season even begins, just in case things don't work out. And I don't think Windhorse wanted Shannon admitting that Luka joining the team should be enough to make them contenders. And what do you think about Alex? Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I see some people in the chat talking about how guys used to, play through injuries and the toughness, and, you have these guys who are like actors now, and, they're not really professional athletes, and we talk about a lot of that stuff, man. And that's the thing that we're alluding to. No one's saying that guys who are, did you ever hear anyone complain about Chet Holmgren being out? No one said Chet Holmgren was flopping or he was fake. The dude was legit jacking her. He was hurt, man. The dude messed himself up. No one was blaming anyone for being out with a legit injury. But when you look at guys and you look at the reason why they're out, go look at it right now, guys. These guys are out with soreness. Soreness is not a reason for a professional athlete to be missing games, guys. I want you guys to go look and see why Zion Williamson was out last night. Go look at why he didn't play. It said that the Zion Williamson was out for preconditioning or something like that. He's not really conditioned to play consecutive games yet. He's not in shape enough, so he has to sit out. This is insane. These guys are supposed to be bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be sore. I've said it on here a lot. It's kind of ridiculous that you're a pro athlete getting paid a lot of money in order to compensate for the fact that you're going to be in pain and you're using your body. Well, guess what? Your body is how you make a paycheck. So you should have to play through some discomfort. I don't remember being feeling great every time that I played. I'm pretty sure during football I was always in pain. Let's read some super chats. Thomas Pickett says, I am still mad about Mason Plumlee missing Anthony Davis' shot in the 2020 Western Conference Finals. I got to tell you, I did not watch any of 2020. I have watched the finals now so that I can break down how absolutely worthless of a role player LeBron James was and how dependent he was on his teammates, namely Anthony Davis. And I'm going to release that this summer. That's a lot of footage to break down, but that's coming. So do you know what he's talking about? What did Plumlee do?
I'm assuming that he's talking about maybe that I was talking earlier and I mentioned that Anthony Davis hit that game winner. So I'm not sure what happened after that shot or before that shot. Maybe Plumlee missed a shot or something like that. But like I said, I'm not too familiar with the 2020 totality of the Western Conference Finals. I remember some of the games and some of the plays, but not that particular one.
Brandon Ingram trade. Maybe we'll get to that. Let's see. I got another super chat here from Nick Tri-State. Bigger what? Bigger what if Ray misses that shot and Duncan goes 6-0 in the finals, or Kobe winning in 08 and having 2 3-peats just like MJ.
Ooh, that's a great one. I like that. That's a good one. That's a crazy what if right there.
I take the first one because I think LeBron James disappears. I think we get to stop suffering the LeBron James crap if they don't win it that year. Because you see what he did, you see what he does when things aren't going his way. You know, he left Miami as soon as things weren't going his way. Well, maybe he leaves Miami even earlier, and doesn't have Ray Allen and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh carrying his ass.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you talk about Ray Allen, if he misses that shot and Duncan goes 6-0, you know, maybe what does that do for Tim Duncan or some of the other, players that are on that team? But like you said, it's like, think about like the big swing there. That's like one of those big swings of what if. When you talk about, what if he doesn't make that shot? Then, like you said, what does that do for the totality of LeBron James' career, versus, Tim Duncan's career and some of the other guys, man? Because that, like you said, that shows, and once again, will put LeBron James at what, like a 2-6 record, or excuse me, a 3-6 record or 3-7 in the NBA Finals, man. So that all of a sudden makes LeBron James look a hell of a lot worse than we do otherwise. But also with Kobe Bryant, man, on the flip side, that, quote unquote, the 3-peat that would be for 08, 09, and 2010, man, what that would mean for Kobe Bryant. Because once again, when we talk about Kobe Bryant and how people are seeming to remember Kobe Bryant, once again, they're trying to rewrite the history on Kobe Bryant's career. And that 3-peat, I think, would really solidify, or really wouldn't allow a lot of these fools out here, to talk and say some of the things that they're allowed to say. Similar to if Michael Jordan didn't leave in 1993.
Yeah, maybe we'll save that for a Sunday panel talk, because we were going to talk about Kobe's post-mortem disrespect, because I was a Kobe critic, and I actually thought that they were going to immortalize him, and instead they used this as an opportunity to kind of brush his legacy under the carpet. If he'd had 2 3-peats, would they have been able to do that as easily? Like I said, we'll save that for a future show, because I want to get to King's Speech Row. He says something that leads to one of the topics I wanted to talk about today. He says, for 5 USD super chat, when the moves work, it's LeBron. When they don't, it's everyone else. The narrative will always work in his favor. Throw I don't know, hide hands, the whole fan base. So we have the Luka thing in which LeBron is now complaining that the Lakers listened to Luka. Apparently, Luka wanted that Mark Williams trade that didn't work out, and LeBron's camp was upset that they listened to Luka and added the line that they've been ignoring LeBron for years. They have done everything they freaking can to try and keep up with LeBron's constant whining and demanding. Like, honestly, his own camp lives in the same delusional world that he is in, or they just know what narrative to put out there because his fans will repeat anything that people say. Like, I mean, do LeBron fans actually believe that GMs don't constantly move pieces to try and help him? No one. I don't even think it comes within double digits of the number of pieces moved for any other player ever compared to LeBron James. Like, isn't it in the hundreds?
Absolutely. And see, this is the confusion for a lot of the people that have been watching the game for a long time. What's the simple theme that we've always heard? LeBron James needs more help. Okay, so what have the teams been doing? Like you just mentioned, they've been getting LeBron James help. So the problem, what we've always been highlighting, is that for some reason, LeBron James is still losing more than he's winning, even though those teams are making all of those moves. You just highlighted, AOH, over 100 moves, free agents, trades, throughout LeBron James' career. So what do we see? LeBron James gets the players that he wants, essentially. He gets these moves. He gets the guys. He gets the Kevin Loves. He has Kyrie Irving. He has Dwayne Wade. He gets Chris Bosh. He gets Ray Allen. He gets Shane Battier. He gets whoever he needs, Richard Jefferson, right? He gets Iman Shumpert or Tristan Thompson or Timothy Mozgov. Any of these guys, any of the guys that he thinks of, he gets these guys, but for some reason, the results are not there. And why are the results not there? They tell us they're not there because of the guys around him. They're not helping LeBron James. But the reality is they're not helping LeBron James because LeBron James hasn't allowed them to help him. So the roles that they're supposed to be playing for LeBron James to be successful, he's not allowing them to play those roles at a high level. He's got them standing around. He's got them act like a bunch of goofs. He's got them studying film of other players. He's got them not knowing what to do. So once again, your team is inconsistent.
I put a poll. I see a lot of people chiming in on how they feel about the Grizzlies. So I put up a poll. Do you guys think that the Grizzlies are legit or do you not? And we'll get back. We'll circle back and find out why people feel the way that they feel. Have you seen our man Uncut Hoops in the chat yet? Because I wanted to shout him out.
I saw my man Infamous Styles. I saw Jim. Hey, shout out to Jim from Self Reachers Facts.
Hey, Jim.
John Pettit. I see a lot of the guys down there, man, in the chat.
So here's what I wanted to say about Shannon Sharpe. Like I said when we started this show, he spewed a lot of stupidity, enough to where I heard on other content creator channels some of his sound bites. But I heard him when he was having his orgasms about LeBron having his 40-point game, just spewing so many inaccuracies. And Stephen A. Smith wasn't even professional enough to have his stats ready to refute him. But you don't, because Shannon Sharpe was inaccurate. And where are the consequences? When are any of these people going to lose their jobs or get suspended when your job is to come on TV and accurately talk about sports, analyze sports as analysts are, but you're not doing that, and therefore you should suffer consequences. They don't, because he's an actor, he's a clown, he's making noise to entertain and to mislead the people that want to believe in LeBron James. But I had just done the video about getting LeBron getting swept and Jordan getting swept in the first round against the Celtics. And that game that Jordan scored 63, he shot 50% when he scored 63. But here's Shannon Sharpe telling the world that Michael Jordan wasn't efficient and not as efficient as LeBron James. And it's not true at all. Now, of course, Uncut Hoops took the time to break down the actual stats and show how untrue it was. but it's really something that you can just go on TV and lie. And then Stephen A. Smith not even be prepared with the rebuttal. This is who we have on TV teaching people about sports.
Right. And it makes us think of a Hubie Brown, the great Hubie Brown that just broadcasted his final game the other night or the other weekend, last weekend. And once again, shout out to Hubie Brown and his family. And thank you to Hubie Brown, man, for all he's done for all of us out there, man. A true educator, a teacher. I never call him a broadcaster or anything. I know him as that. He's an educator and a teacher of the game of basketball, Hubie Brown, man. We are all, smarter and wiser because of someone like Hubie Brown. And when you talk about these guys, not stopping someone on air from saying the wrong information, not educating the people out there, that's what we're doing here. That's why I say setting the record straight. That's the problem. There's nothing wrong with people having an opinion. Sometimes people get passionate, they get on their soapbox, they start saying some crazy stuff, and they're way off historically, contextually, factually, they're way off. But they're so passionate about these things that they sound right. But there's no one there to correct them or check them. So when we're talking here and I'm giving you guys, and I'm telling you, I'm giving you guys the facts here. Go check out what I'm saying. I'm giving you the facts. Shannon Sharpe doesn't got the facts of the NBA from back in the day. That's why when he speaks, he sounds ridiculous, and we all laugh at him. I'm telling you right now, I grew up watching this stuff. You can say I'm yelling and this guy don't know what he's saying. Go check what I'm saying and check the film of what I'm saying. I'm telling you the facts. These guys won't hold the standard. They'll let someone say some nonsense. Michael Jordan scoring those points against the Boston Celtics in 1986, that was the #1 defensive team in the league that year. But not only that, let's put some more context behind it. You're going against one of the all-time great elite defensive players in Dennis Johnson. But Shannon Sharpe won't educate you and say, yeah, when Michael Jordan scored his points, he was doing this against Dennis Johnson, who's one of the great defensive players at the point guard position in the history of the NBA. He had long arms and he could move his feet. He played great defense. So what did I just do right there? I just educated some people who don't even know who Dennis Johnson is. Now they have to go and Google Dennis Johnson. They have to go and do that research. You have to make that effort and do that and find out who the hell I'm talking about. Go do it and you'll see. It highlights what he was doing even more.
There's the underlying theme. Have the decency to go and find out. Especially today, you can't take someone's word for it. If someone were to tell me that such and such a player who I haven't watched should be considered in the GOAT conversation or should be considered the greatest dunker ever, I'm not going to be like a LeBron fan and just say, no, that's no. And I'll go look. I'll at least find out something, or at least say I need to go find out something. The desperation level, when you guys jump on Shannon Sharpe being inaccurate and want to believe it is true, you're showing a desperation level that you just don't want to ever have reality shine down on you. Let me read GQ. GQ
a lot of super chats, man. Shout out to everybody. Thank you all you guys out there, man, who contribute to the live streams, man.
Yes, thank you all. And hey, I noticed, with that joke Utah Jazz game, and of course the LeBron sector getting excited that Bronny made some shots. Just like his dad, they can make shots when it doesn't matter. It's just like his dad again. So, and not even always then, but that's when their shooting percentage increases, when it just doesn't matter. Okay.
No.
GQ, thank you for the chat. He says money is to both. Much respect. My question is, do you think they're using LeBron as some type of plant for social engineering? Well, yeah. I mean, I think isn't one of the excuses to keep the Lakers relevant, which is absurd. You don't need help keeping the Lakers relevant. You just don't. I mean, the Warriors have been in the doghouse for a few years now, and they still have a higher revenue than the Lakers do. And Curry's still out selling LeBron's jerseys, despite the media helping LeBron. So, but yes, unfortunately, he is a plant. He's absolutely a plant. I mean, hey, we're guilty. Look at us. The people like Shannon Sharpe are out there telling lies, and we turn around and we try to correct those lies. But one way or another, they are successfully having LeBron James in the conversation. I don't know what to say, guys. I'm not going to stop
listen.
refuting the. I'm not going to stop refuting the lies.
Yeah, I mean, AOH, like you say, man, when you bring up the word like social and you talk about social engineering and you bring up something like this, what do we often mention out here on our live streams, in our videos, in our conversations? We talk about some of these characteristics of men, of people. We talk about society. And oftentimes, right, we have a problem with a lot of these guys, and the same things that we have a problem with them, or a lot of the things that we have a problem with in society. So when we think about how some of these guys act, what do I often tell you guys out there about how these guys carry themselves? Right? They don't really have any honor. They're not really classy individuals. They don't really carry themselves with any integrity. A lot of these guys have sold their integrity. These ex-NBA players, all for money and fame. A lot of these guys have YouTube channels. They're out here for the money and the views. They're not out here holding onto the integrity. So they're out here talking and saying nonsense, like we mentioned, someone like Shannon Sharp. He's made millions of dollars out here lying. Someone like Nick Wright. He's been lying about Michael Jordan, the past NBA players. So once again, this is a no honor person. So these guys, this is the society that we're living in. And a lot of these guys are like that, man. LeBron James and a lot of these other players, man.
And to the people that keep saying, don't focus on the player, focus on the people allowing it to happen. I'll turn around and say, but who are those people doing it for? I mean, they are motivated because of the story of someone who's supposed to be better than he is. So yes, the people, the media, Adam Silver, etc., they're all guilty, but it's all centered around a fake story about LeBron James. You can't separate LeBron James from it, and you can't criticize us for focusing on LeBron James when the NBA itself focuses on LeBron James and calls LeBron James the face of the league and an ambassador for the game. And he's done so much. He's done so much that now these very same sports analysts will turn around and tell you that all the despicable things that he does are fine because he's earned it. I mean, they're actually telling you these things. Now, that crap came out of Stephen A. Smith's mouth. He's guilty. But why did he say it? Whose story is he saying it for the benefit of? You understand how you can't separate those things? Let me see. We'll get to those super chats. What else did I not talk about that I need to today? We talked about him being upset about them giving some love to Luka. We talked about how if Luka went to any other team, that would be plenty of help, but they still need pieces. Let's see. I think we kind of went over most of it. Yeah. You want to hop on some of these super chats?
Yeah, man, read them off. Like I said, people have been, I see them coming in. I see people out there. You guys, like I said, you coming through and we really appreciate it.
So I see Leo. Am I in the right spot or did I miss any? Leo Zakari says, does anyone remember Willis Reed limping out of the tunnel for game 7 of the 70 finals? You'll never see that toughness today. Yeah. And you had Kevin McHale, who played on a broken foot, and he lives with the pain of that injury, but I like the story that you came out and played on an injured foot for your team in a heroic effort, rather than living the rest of your life saying, yeah, I set that out and my team lost. I mean, what do you want to live with? You can comfort yourself. Well, today you can comfort yourself with absurd paychecks, whether you deliver or not.
Yep.
So back in the day, it was about whether you had pride in yourself and whether you could live with yourself, and if it was the last chance that you were going to have to win and to secure, and maybe, some of it was for money, you want to keep earning your spot on the team. But when you're an old man, and let's say that you don't have millions and millions, enough millions of dollars that you can buy your own country, basically, is how rich these guys are now. What do you want to look back on your life and remember that you gave it your all and played through an injury for your team, or that you're like, I think I'll preserve myself for next season?
Yeah, I mean, wait, when this person brings up, a shout out to, like I said, to Lee Zakari, who bringing this up, Willis Reed. When you mention Willis Reed, it's not about the numbers that Willis Reed put up, because he didn't do a damn thing numbers-wise. It wasn't about that. It was about inspiring his team. He was the leader. He was the captain out there, and he inspired the New York Knicks. I was recently listening to Walt Clyde Frazier on an interview. I can't remember the where he was at the platform, but he was being interviewed, and they were talking about that moment. A lot of people asked him about that moment, Willis Reed coming out. And he talked about how it inspired their play, how he himself personally, how that inspired him by seeing Willis Reed come out like that under those circumstances in that moment. And that's what we're talking about. The inspiration that's not there. And why is that inspiration there? Why did Willis Reed come out? He came out why? Because he loved the game, because he was a true competitor. And he came out there for his teammates, man, to go out there and compete, man. And that's what we talk about. These guys don't really have that love. They don't have that competitive fire like a lot of the all-time greats did, man.
Hayden Phoenix. La Ego is already jealous of Luca. He's a female. Thank you for the super chat, Hayden. Self-researched is right underneath there. Hey, Jim, we'll have to have you on for a special episode sometime. Maybe we'll line something up this coming week if you're interested. Remember LeBron missed the three that made that Ray Allen three happen? Yes, I do. I broke this down. He missed a lot in that game. So LeBron is always helping. LeBron made the right play by missing and allowing a rebound to go to Ray Allen. Good job, LeBron. Did they credit him with an assist on that? the double hockey assist?
Like, where are the players right now? Like, where are the NBA players in large to stand up against this All-Star game nonsense? I didn't see any of the players up in arms. I heard some players say that they didn't really like it, or they weren't maybe a fan of it, or things of that nature. But I don't see no one saying I'm refusing to play in the All-Star game if they change it. I don't hear anyone saying that. Where's the sacrifice then? Where are the players using that power and holding Adam Silver to a standard and being like, listen, man, there's nothing wrong with the All-Star game. We want to go out there this year and do East versus West. We want to go out there and do the tradition and keep the tradition alive. We want to carry the torch, or we want to pick the torch up because we dropped it years ago. Pick it up, East versus West. Line it up and play, compete. And if you want to damn it, you tell each other internally, hey, listen, guys, this year, no one shoot a three-pointer. We ain't shooting threes. You tell each other in the locker room. The NBA players have the power to do all of this stuff. They can do whatever they want. They're the ones that make the game. I keep telling people this. They make the game. There's no game of the players, but we make the league. There's no NBA without the fans, man. They're supposed to be going out there and balling. If they want to tell that goof Adam Silver, listen, fool, we doing East-West. We ain't doing no Team Chuck versus Team Kenny and Team Candace. What is this nonsense, man? You go out there and say, we ain't playing then. And you got an all-star game with a bunch of fools out there.
Hey, when any of you Braun people come on here and say that Robin's being unfair and yelling at you, this is how he talks. This is how he speaks to me. Don't try and act like he's being unfair to you. Brian Morian, wow, thank you for that big super chat. I hope your contributions force the league to make changes. I would love to watch basketball again. I can't watch what we have now. I have no hope. I have no hope for the NBA coming back. But I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I'm archiving games, and we're going to get all these guys together, and we're going to watch them together, and we'll post that as basketball content when it's all said and done. What do you think we should do more? Watch classic games and enjoy them, or watch today's games and just laugh our asses off?
I'm not going to lie. Sometimes people try to make it seem as if we're hating on the guys today. And we're not talking from a place of hatred. We're speaking from a place of disappointment, and how, once again, the standard has been lowered. So what a lot of people think is great NBA basketball, it's not great NBA basketball because they haven't really seen great NBA basketball played in a consistent level, held to a standard, where guys are not traveling all over the court or carrying the ball all over the court, where guys don't miss games every night, or they don't blame their teammates all the time. The star players are always there. It's the standard we're talking about, man. We love basketball. I love watching NBA, man. But once again, we can't do it now at the same degree. Back in the day, I always tell people, you could just turn on the TV. It didn't matter who was playing. And you used to feel the intensity sitting in your living room.
MHT TR Stevie, you're going to have to tell me how to say that. I'm just going to call you Stevie. So does LeBron team up with superstars, not just to lift him up, but also to drag down possible GOAT candidates of his own generation? You know, we actually overlook that part of it. We're so blown away by how talented the people are that he takes, and he takes people in their primes. You know, that was one of the differences that self-researched NBA facts and Uncut Hoops have pointed out. You know, his super teams are not similar to the other supposed super teams where guys that are at the end of their career try and put something together. This guy is literally taking the other great guys in his conference off of other teams. And therefore, not only does he stack the deck in his favor, but he depletes the competition. It's actually a really important point.
That's an absolutely excellent point. That's one of the things that we've mentioned when we talk about the Miami Heat super team. Not only did you stack up the odds in your favor, but you also weakened all your competition. You weakened 2 other teams in your conference. So it's similar like you're talking about now. They're taking off Luka Doncic off the Mavericks, even though they get Anthony Davis. It might appear to be a similar swap or a quote unquote even swap, but we all know the reality is not the same. They're not the same age. They're not on the same level. We all know about the health wise, even though they both seem to be frail at the moment. But yeah, absolutely. Now you're sabotaging Luka Doncic. And see, this is what I talked about the lose-lose situation here for LeBron James, the reality here. Because what is it? Like we said, are they going to win a championship, the Lakers, this year? It's going to have to be Luka Doncic who's going to lead. LeBron James ain't leading no one a damn place. They ain't leading them nowhere. So either Luka Doncic going to do it and LeBron James will ride the coattails, or what will we see? LeBron James not improving, another superstar level talent, which exposes, once again, the narratives around LeBron James.
You know, I was trying to get 93Z to come on. He's not responding to me. I must have, YouTube must have put some more fake chats in his account. Did you hear me tell you? I saw comments from me that I didn't type. I don't know what's happening, but it's really weird. But you know, I saw his breakdown of the Lakers Jazz game. And if the refs don't make absurd calls in LeBron's favor, he's effed. He's effed.
Yep.
He doesn't have moves. It's like charge the lane and they bail me out. Or if they don't, you're screwed. But back to the depleting the competition thing. It also is a good reason to think about LeBron's losses in the finals, because he depleted his own conference and had such easy walks through the least, the East is the Eastern Conference. Well, that's why you lose when you get to the West. And that's also why I'm so still to this day pissed off at the 2016 Warriors, because that was starting the way that it should have gone. The Cavs having their asses handed to them. But what's LeBron do when everything's aren't going his way? Then he hops to another team and stacks the odds again. He doesn't stick with a team when things are going down. So how can you be impressed with the number of times that he's gone to the finals when he gets to the finals by manipulating the situation? And this will bring you to the Ryan Clarke bit and thank you, Armand Smith, for reminding me, because this was on my list and somehow I went past it. Yeah. Armand Smith cooked Shannon Sharp and pointed, but here I actually have a negative on that, because I was thinking, wow, why did he get so bold all of a sudden? Because this isn't new information. I'm actually disappointed that it takes so long for other people to finally say the obvious truth. And the reason that it was brought up was the context of Patrick Mahomes. So he was defending Patrick Mahomes, and that's why it came up, talking about the number of times that you lose going to somewhere. Well, shouldn't we still be impressed that you got there? So apparently Shannon Sharp was crapping on Mahomes in order for Ryan Clarke to say that. It's like, how can you say that about Mahomes when you celebrate a guy who gets to the finals and loses all the time? But good for you, Ryan Clarke.
Right, and I mean, I think the point that you made, AOH, is the important one here. Why is it taking so long, or why did it take so long for these people to finally stand up? See, that's why I laugh. Like, shout out to Ryan Clarke, no doubt, man. Good for him for saying that, and like really said, embarrassing Shannon Sharp the way that he did. I saw that clip. But like you said, y'all should have been embarrassing. Shannon Sharp should never even have been allowed to talk basketball because he should have been embarrassed so much with the takes that he was giving that he shouldn't have been allowed to talk basketball anymore. He should have only been relegated to football talk. That should have been his expertise. Shannon Sharp was a great football player. I grew up watching Shannon Sharp playing football. Shannon Sharp, the football player, and Shannon Sharp, the guy you see on TV. He's an actor, guys. He's a goof out there. That's why I call him. He's a clown. He's not the guy that you think he is, man. He don't know basketball. So yes, good for Ryan Clarke for making him look stupid. But the same thing that we say with a lot of these guys. These guys should have never been anything. They've lost all credibility a long time ago.
Yeah, and as far as Shannon Sharp not being qualified to talk about basketball because he's a football player, well, I mean,
no, I'm not saying that.
I know you're not, but I know, but some people in the chat are. But well, then why are you willing? Why are you willing to listen to Nick Wright? Why are you willing to listen to Brian Windhorst? Those people are even less qualified if we're going to look at their sports backgrounds. I mean,
yeah, I was speaking specifically based off of his takes that he gives. He should not be allowed to speak basketball.
Yeah, and like, yeah, somebody, I think it was Scap, played that sound bite of Kendrick Perkins when he pulled the race card in the MVP race. And why does he still have a job? Forget the racist implications. How about the fact that he was just plain wrong? He was inaccurate, and he planted the seed to get one of the worst guys in the NBA a fake MVP in a season that Jokic went further. And I mean, what Kendrick Perkins did should have gotten him banned from sports media coverage, period. But no, these guys, and it's shock entertainment. We're not really listening to sports analysts. We're listening to shock entertainment.
I mean, listen, airways. I remember Kendrick Perkins. I want everybody to remember this. I say this all the time, man. Kendrick Perkins, back in the 2000 and 2001, 2022 season, when LeBron James got Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard, he had all these guys in the team. He told us to keep that same energy. I was watching ESPN First Take. Kendrick Perkins said, I'm not lying about this. He said, the Lakers are going to win 70-plus games that season. That was his prediction for the Lakers that season, guys, going into the season, the preseason prediction for the Lakers, 70-plus games. They won what, 37? I don't even remember what they won, 35? But he predicted 70-plus.
I am going to say thank you to DD for the €5. If LeBron was GOAT, it should be much easier to assemble championship rosters around him. That's not the case. He fails his teams again and again. Indeed, like I know people are going to counter this point with he's old. Well, but then you don't get to keep saying that he is top 7 in the NBA, or as Kenny Smith said, number 2 in the NBA, because that should be enough. You should only need role players around you if you are in fact that good. You shouldn't need a second superstar. And what was Luka ranked? 3rd in the NBA? I mean, you shouldn't need a number 2 or a number 3. And then in addition to that, get another superstar piece. And then, of course, everybody looks past all the other great acquisitions that they've had. As a suffering Warriors fan, I would have been happy to have Hachimura or Finney Smith. Shit, I'd probably take Austin Reeves at this point. No, I don't want Austin Reeves. But I tell you what, Lakers take Draymond, and we'll suffer through.
You'll take Connect, right?
Yeah, fuck. We'll take Connect.
I mean, like you said, it's crazy because I think that when we talk about the Lakers right now, the problem is people are still trying to make it seem like it's LeBron James' team. It's not LeBron James' team. Listen, they might be able to get over with that lie when Anthony Davis was there. We all knew, the real fans knew, Anthony Davis has been the best player in the Lakers since he got there. Was he always healthy? No, but he was always the best player. But you could lie to the people and the public and get over with that narrative. Oh, LeBron James, still the best player in the Lakers. He's still one of the best players in the league. You can't get people to believe the lie that on the Lakers right now, between Luka Doncic and LeBron James, you're going to sell me that LeBron James is the best player in the Lakers right now? You can't sell that lie anymore. The problem is for LeBron James, he won't give up his shine. He won't give up that spotlight.
LeBron's been bad for a while. I've got years of video footage in which I'm literally just flabbergasted at how bad he is and how bad his shooting percentage was, and leading the team in turnovers and being the worst in shooting percentage on the team while taking the most shots. I mean, this has been going on for a long time. But you know what happens? He'll have one decent game, and apparently that just washes everything else away. Now, if we were to look at Jordan by comparison, Jordan pretty much had to be amazing all the time, but a LeBron fan will be like, hey, look, he was human once or twice, and that's supposed to be evidence. Well, LeBron is worse than human most of the time, with a couple of scatterings of good games. Yeah, how do I even need to explain how absurd that is?
Yep.
John Petit, John Pettit, I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's not
Pettit.
John Pettit. Yeah, it's not the French pronunciation. It's all centered around, God damn it, I need LASIK. It's all centered around they don't have anyone that's good anymore, so they had to change the rules to make it seem like these players are great. Yeah, I mean, I don't like comparing past eras, whether just because they aren't playing by the same rules anymore. Forget whether or not they are more skilled or bigger, faster, stronger. They're not playing the same game, so we can't have a realistic conversation about it.
Absolutely, AOH. You're talking about the worthiness of the game that these guys are allowed to play today versus the game that the guys in the past were playing. I never remember anyone making fun of the way that Bob Cousy dribbled when I was young growing up. You know what we were wondering? Why did Bob Cousy dribble that way? Why did it look a little bit different than the way the guys are dribbling today? And you know what you found out? Because when they played the game, that's the way the game was officiated. That's all you could do. That was what Bob Cousy could do with the way the game was officiated. He played under stricter, harsher standards, guys. This is what we're talking about. What you're talking about, LH, is the standard. What John Pettit was talking about, he's alluding to the standard there, man. They lowered the standard for the guys today to make them look like they're more elite because they're more skilled. They're not necessarily more skilled, guys. They're allowed to do more and get away with more.
I saw, yeah. Look, when I try to play pickup now, I have internal debates with myself. I'm like, well, am I going to adopt the cheating rules so that I can have handles out there? You know, just pick up my dribble and then pick it up again when the defender closes on me. I mean, it's just blatant cheating. And it's what I did when I was learning how to dribble is now what they're calling skilled ball handlers. It is not legal, people. And right. I don't think I grew up dribbling by the rules. I can't even get myself to cheat because it's just not, you know, in my muscle memory. Not that I should cheat. I guess that's the thing now. You just find ways to justify cheating instead of holding yourself to a higher standard, right? Isn't that
exactly
what it's all
that's
about,
what
now?
About now?
That's what it's about now, LeBron fans. Hey, just finding an excuse. I've got a super chat from Malaysia. It's very clear that the NBA had used Michael Jordan to reach this height, and LeBron James is just an unfortunate victim out of their own greed. Yeah, well, LeBron didn't work out in terms of being great, but they did find a way to still capitalize by creating this fake comparison, keeping Michael Jordan's name in there and comparing LeBron to Jordan, which they should not.
I want the people out there to think about something. When I talk about the word integrity and we talk about playing basketball with a certain level of integrity and having honor, let's say, when you're out playing a pickup game, what kind of people do you not like playing against? You don't like playing against those people that call the chinchy fouls. They call these little fouls. They call these little nonsensical things, right? You don't like playing with those kind of people, man. Because once again, they're not playing the game with any honor or any integrity. So they'll make up a call. They'll say they got hit when they went to the rim. When you know no one touched these clowns, but they're out there calling these nonsensical plays, these nonsensical. We're like, yo, who's calling these fouls, man? It's nonsense out there. There's no referees out in the street, man. So you have to play with a certain level of integrity. You have to honor the game and play the game the right way out there on the streets. Or what's going to happen? Someone's going to chin check you, man. You're going to get into it with somebody out there because you're out there playing the game nonsensically, man. And you're out there calling nonsense, man. That's the integrity of the game. That's the honor and the love of the game, man.
You know, I like to ask people, to put themselves in that position on a pickup court when they try to justify all the dirty crap that LeBron does. They're like, oh, no, that's not an illegal screen, or no, it's okay, you can do that. I'm like, you would not say that if someone was doing that to you out on that basketball court. You would not say that. LeBron James gets away with murder.
You know, I see a lot of people in the comments talking about the gather step and how that's, you know, it's been so exaggerated now, it's destroyed, you know, once again, the integrity of the game. And yes, you guys run the money, man. We are right there with you guys, man. You know, I don't want to just focus on LeBron James. You know, we're talking about the NBA and you know, and things of that nature. But a lot of times when I'm trying to get the LeBron James fans and people out there to understand when we knock LeBron James for traveling and you talk about, you know, him using the offensive fouling, what LeBron James does, if you watch him play, when he uses his momentum, his force to lower the shoulder, use that arm and lean into guys, what's that's doing is putting him off balance. So he often has to travel, take an extra step to stabilize himself, get his balance back. So what do you see LeBron James do often under the rim? When he does that, you'll see him shuffle his feet oftentimes at the end of a drive, which is essentially him taking third or fourth step to stabilize his momentum because he's just running into guys. There's no one is resisting against him. Back in the 80s, the 90s, back in the day, there would be resistance there. You would not be able to just barrel into these guys. You would be running into a wall, essentially. Guys were allowed to hold their ground. Guys held their ground.
Super chat, Cameron Peterson, thank you, from Canada. LeBron needs other teams' number one options in order to win. Yeah, I mean, usually LeBron's bench is the starting lineup of another team, and they're still complaining. I see, I hate to read random comments, but some fool said that LeBron shoots better than Jordan. This again is someone who has not bothered to go and look. Just go and look. I mean, Jordan's jump shot is art. It's incredible. And the speed at which he executed that shot was unfair. You freaking fools. Goatcast responded, shoots better from where?
Yeah, once again, these people are not living in reality. They don't want to live in reality. There's no way that you can explain LeBron James shooting better than Michael Jordan. You can't explain it.
Someone pointed out that LeBron hasn't won without any of the stacking the superstars, and one of the Bron fans says, "Oh, he's won at least one or two without him." I'm like, you don't even know? Like, you haven't researched the guy that you idolize? Have you? And no, he hasn't. He hasn't won anything without super stacked all-star with him. He's never. He hasn't. You guys don't even know your own idol's history. God,
I'm telling you right now, a lot of these people were not watching basketball back before 2015, man.
So if you're not watching basketball, why is it so important to them to believe that LeBron is the GOAT? What is it? You guys don't even watch basketball. Why would you care?
They don't know. Once again, we're speaking from a place of historical perspective. I'm telling people historically, I'm giving you perspective here. The perspective, I didn't just start watching basketball last month, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm giving you guys perspective here off of what I've watched, what I've seen with my eyes. And this ain't it. This is not NBA basketball, guys. There's no balance to the game. When you talk about the level of players that LeBron James has needed, let's say that LeBron James played with all these great players. That's great for him. That's fine. But where are the results? That's the problem there. Where are your results? There are no results. So LeBron James was 7-3 in the finals and he played with all that help. At least the man would have the results to be like, yes, I played with Dwayne Wade. I played with Kyrie Irving, with Kevin Love, with Chris Bosh, with Ray Allen, with Anthony Davis, with this guy. But I have the results. I won 7 championships out of 10. What do we have from LeBron James? We get mediocrity. We get 4 and 6. You get a loser, but you're celebrating him as if he's 6 and 4, as if he's 6 and 0.
You know, we were talking about depleting the competition earlier, and here we go with it happening with the Mavs. You know, I don't know what the Mavs would have done. I'm not saying they would have, but it would have been fun to see what they were capable of. Instead, now they're a shell of themselves. Now you've removed another bit of the competition from your own conference. Like, it's not happening. The Mavs are not happening. I mean, unless you can convince me of a reason that they are. Hey, read a self-researched comment there on the screen while I go check the poll that I put up. Let's see how that poll
Yeah,
did.
absolutely. Yo, shout out to Jim once again for coming through. Yo, shout out to all you guys again. King Speech Roll, Classic Basketball DVDs, Joel, Jimmy James C. I see you guys out here, man, supporting our channel. I see some of the groups out there in the chat. But my man Jim says Shannon Sharp just gives opinions, nothing based in facts. That's why he has no credibility. LeBron is not the greatest of all time because media clowns say so. They are trying to make it happen artificially. Absolutely, Jim. He's right on the money, like he always is. And why is if you guys don't know from self-research NBA facts, if you don't know him, self-research NBA facts, go check his channel out because his channel is literally what his the title says. He does his homework, he does the research, so you fools don't have to. Just all you He's taking all of the hard work away from you. He's literally saying, I'm going to do all the research on my own. Come to my channel and just listen to me talk for a little bit. You just play the damn thing. And he's not yelling like me. Go listen to him, and he'll do what he does. Whatever the title of the video is, that's exactly what you're going to get from him. You're not going to get some random ranting like me. I go off the handle. Go get the research. The man knows what he's talking about.
Jeez, I can't find the freaking poll. What's wrong with me?
I mean, listen, the Memphis Grizzlies are a quality basketball team. If you look at them on paper, you look at the plays they have, you look at them play some of these games, they're a quality basketball team, the Memphis Grizzlies. I saw some of the people earlier say that they like the Memphis Grizzlies. I like the Memphis Grizzlies too. I like some of their teams, man. I was always a fan of the Memphis Grizzlies back in the 2000s, when they were known for the grit and grind Grizzlies, and they were always competing against, Kobe Bryant's Lakers and the Spurs and the Utah Jazz and of Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer and, the Phoenix Suns with Nationals. I was a fan of these guys with Zach Randolph and Gasol and, Tony Allen. I always liked their team. But the reality is the Grizzlies ain't going nowhere without John Morant, guys. You know that. So even if they get to the playoffs, if John Morant ain't there, they're not winning no championship.
Cameron Peterson says, imagine Wilt with open lanes and extra steps. Yeah, I don't understand how people are excited about dunking in these wide open lanes.
I mean, listen, these are some of the things that we talked about, the education. Once again, shout out to UB Brown again for educating people like me on the history of the NBA. I told you guys back in the day, when I was growing up watching the broadcast, watching games, the way they paid homage to guys like Wilt Chamberlain and the Bill Russells and all these other guys is by mentioning their names in broadcast, always bringing them up in a positive light and giving context. So I used to always tell you guys, when Michael Jordan, when I was growing up, Michael Jordan was this crazy scorer, right? He was doing all these crazy things, scoring all these points, Michael Jordan. But when Michael Jordan broke a record and they posted his name up on the screen, they would always have an asterisk there. And the asterisk, it would say, Wilt Chamberlain, it would say before or after, after the merger, because they were excluding Wilt Chamberlain. So once again, what are they doing there? They're paying homage to Michael Jordan in the moment, and they're paying him his respects, but they're also paying homage to Wilt Chamberlain by saying, there's an asterisk here. Let's not forget, Wilt Chamberlain was doing X, Y, Z. This man was crazy, and they would always bring these players up. So when we think about Wilt Chamberlain now, and someone talks about the open lanes and things of that nature, what if Wilt Chamberlain was allowed to play the game that Shaquille O'Neal was allowed to play in the early 2000s, throw his weight around, his physical strength, and use that to his advantage? He wasn't allowed to play that particular kind of game.
That's one of the things that if I could pay money and make, a fantasy game come true, I want to see Wilt and Shaq go at it, and Wilt playing in a physical era, because they say that he could bench like 550. Good God. Bandana Dan with the super chat, the step back travel 3 has really ruined it for me. They don't even bother with a pound dribble anymore. Just run backwards and magically you're open.
That's a great comment.
How about LeBron James as he shifts gears and like slowly stops traveling into his walk up 3? He fucking travels his ass into an uncontested 3-point attempt.
You know what's crazy is that, a great comment, by the way, for Bandana Danny. Like I said, once again, a true supporter of our live streams. You always got good comments in the chat. When you talk about the step back, you know what I think about immediately? I think about James Harden in the 2018 NBA season when he won an MVP. This man, James Harden, won an MVP on the strength of travel step back threes and flopping for free throws. You guys remember that season when you had guys like Daryl Morey saying, once again, not educating you guys out there, that James Harden was a greater scorer than Michael Jordan? He was the greatest scorer of all time. That's what Daryl Morey was saying in 2018 because of James Harden's travel threes and the flopping for free throws because he was averaging 35 points a game. Are you kidding me? We were comparing that to Michael Jordan's greatness, and you're not educating the people out there, Daryl Morey.
Count Kilroy Graff with a very real and yet sad comment says, I used to cover high school basketball at a local newspaper. I'm seeing kids trying to sell contact, putting their arms up when they get a call. They don't like and striking moronic poses. Young people are watching. Yeah, well, and because the adults doing it are being rewarded for it. It'd be one thing if the adults flopped and then were ridiculed for it and got a technical called on them the way that they're supposed to, but they're being rewarded. Like you just said, you know, how much of James Harden's points came from selling contact or jumping into the defender. Another thing that they're not supposed to be allowing, but they are. You and I were raised somewhat old school. Like, if I would have carried on with some drama, pretending like I got hit on the floor, I would have actually gotten hit afterward, just out of the shame. It's just like, you do not act that way. You do not behave that way. And if you get hit, the honor was in showing that you could play through it, you know, not manipulating the game by making sure instead of being like, hey, look, that didn't affect me. Now you make sure everyone knows that it did affect you, even if it didn't. I mean, that's a 360.
No, that's a great point,
180.
No, yeah, that's a great point. And the point that you're talking about is, like you said, as a competitor, right? When you're playing sports growing up, like you said, when you get knocked down, you're supposed to pop up. These guys now, they go down, they roll around, they milk it, they sell it, things of that nature. You know, we, like you said, we grew up old school. We grew up in the time where, you know, I used to hear phrases like, wait till we get in the car, you're going to get it. I used to hear my mom tell us things like, this is why I can't take you guys nowhere in public, because me and my brothers were knuckleheads and we were always doing stupid things like knocking down clothing racks when we go out to the store and stupid stuff like that. But you grew up with these kinds of things. When you talk about sports, you go down, you scrape your knee, man, get up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I grew up in the time where they used to say a phrase like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And we used to laugh about that as kids. No, this is so stupid. Who said? But think about how true that is now in society today. If people would live by that motto, that all of these things that people might say to you on social media and things of that nature, why are these guys so sensitive now? Why is everybody the victim? I keep telling people, this is not the hardest version of Earth, my friends. We're not living in the hardest version of reality. This is the softest version of Earth. Everything is about comfort and convenience in the life now. Nobody wants to put any effort out there. So what do we get in the court? You got guys chucking up threes because it requires less effort.
And SC adds, these youngsters don't respect the legends. Yeah, along with this bad body language and bad body behavior comes the bad mental behavior. You know, they don't conduct themselves in a respectable manner. And, you know, and in one of the ways that that's true is by disrespecting the older generations of basketball. You should be thankful. You should replace your disrespect with thankfulness.
So I think someone said in the chat that words hurt more than sticks and stones. Like I said, once again, when we talk about being strong and having mental fortitude, right, this goes along with physical strength. All right. So just because you were physically hit or physically hurt, once again, we talk about mental fortitude. So when you talk about words hurting you, why do words hurt somebody? Because you allow them to hurt you. Words can't hurt you. If I hit you in the face with a stick, even if you don't want to be hurt by it, it's going to physically hurt you. So you sound ridiculous when you try to, you know, once again, it's an analogy that's been around forever because it's true.
Yeah, you sound like someone who hasn't actually gotten hurt.
Right, exactly. I don't understand these things, man. Like I said, if someone's talking trash about you online and you're feeling upset about those words, then you know what you do? You log off. That's what you do. You log off. That's what you do in life. I'm giving you some advice right here. Anyone that's affected by people's words to you, do not allow their words to affect you. You're bigger than this. Have some self-respect. Then look at yourself. And once again, understand that you're stronger than you realize. These words ain't going to do nothing to you. They are words. All right? Remember that.
The adults used to tell me when I would complain about someone being mean that no one can make you feel a certain way. You know, that's up to you. Now they can contribute to it. They can try to make you feel bad, but ultimately you do have a mental option to just remove yourself from that situation. Now, if you're getting physically beaten, you don't have that option. So again, the physical
Let me give
abuse
you an
is
example real quick,
different.
Airways. Let me give an example out here. This might be a little drastic for people. People might get a little bit, taken aback. But I'm gonna give you a perfect example that I'm talking about as far as words and your reaction and how they don't affect you and how the reality of a situation could be taken and really gone the wrong way. So, for example, in my life, I've been called the N-word many times in my life from hateful people. They're not saying to me as my friends. They're saying to me in anger or whatever it is. They hate me. They hate the way I look, whatever the case may be. But my reaction to these words, if I allow it to hurt me in such a way that I react a certain way, let's say now I assault this person now because they said words to me. Now I physically hurt this person. I assault them. Where does that put me now? That puts me in a really peculiar situation. That puts me in a situation now where I can be sued, when now I have to defend myself against somebody in an actual physical fight. Or once again, I can be hurt, killed possibly. Or what? I can be arrested and taken to jail now and lose my life and go to jail for what? Because someone said some words to me. They said words to me and I responded because I allowed those words to hurt me. So once again, when we talk about someone like Martin Luther King and you talk about the things that people went through back in the day, like I said, I'm getting a little deep here, apologize. When you think about the words that were being said to these grown men, these individuals, you think that Rosa Parks allowed the words that was being said to her hurt her feelings and make her feel like she was less of a person? No, because they were words. Once again, they stood up to this stuff. So the words are not going to do nothing to you. So that person out there, like I said, I feel sorry for you. Maybe one day you'll become an adult, you'll grow up, and you'll have a backbone, and the words won't affect you.
I got to talk about Joel Embiid because he's an example of being physically soft and mentally soft. When he got mad at that reporter because his reporter mentioned what Joel Embiid said about his own brother. And then after that, Joel Embiid went on about, I've done too much for the city to be treated that way. He hasn't done anything for the city except for steal from that city. But Joel Embiid has shamed his brother's memory. When you reference a loved one and say, I'm going to use him as inspiration for my career, and then your career looks like this, you're shaming your brother, and it's not weird for a reporter to bring that up. Like, how can you resist? Yeah, but in this soft society, you're not allowed to criticize anybody. So a reporter had the nerve to barely say something accurately critical, and bam. And oh my God, Joel Embiid. What? Joel Embiid.
I mean, you hit it on the head, AOH. You hit it on the head, man. You talk about someone like Joel Embiid and the lack of mental fortitude and the lack of physical toughness for someone of. First of all, you think about the physical status or stature of a Joel Embiid. The man 7'2", 300 pounds. He's just a big person. He's a big person. But once again, he doesn't play that size. He doesn't act that size. He acts as someone who's a lot smaller, someone who's a lot frailer. And we've heard Joel Embiid over the years talk about, I used to wrestle lions in Africa, and we know he was joking about making statements like this. But once again, you're representing your country, right? Where you're from, you're representing them, and you look ridiculous out here playing the way that you play, goofing around the way that you goof around. He's giving the finger to people in the stands. All these weird things that Joel Embiid has done over these. Like you said, he has enough in him to get into a physical altercation in the hallway with someone who's a foot smaller, shorter than him, 100 pounds smaller than him, but you don't have enough physically to go out and play a basketball game? I don't get it. If you're going to go out there and beat people up on your day off, then damn it, you should be out there in the game then too, man. Show me you got heart like that. It don't make no sense, man.
Let's get back to basketball. Who are people confident in the West? Let's start with the West. Who do you think are legit? Robin, do you think the Thunder are legit, or do you think that their youth is going to bite them in the playoffs?
No, I think there's no excuse for the Oklahoma State Thunder this year. Once again, now we're barring any injuries, because we have to say that now, because these guys are always going down. But barring any injury to any of SGA or like Chet Holmgren just came back, right? We know that. So I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder, this is a year for them to do something. What are they going to do? I don't know. They need to. To me, I think they at least need to make the Western Conference Finals for their season to be somewhat of a success. But right now, I think that everyone would probably say that they're the best team in the league. They've been the most consistent team, let's say.
Why? See, I get confused because I want like the Rockets. I should be confident in the Rockets, but then the Warriors turned around and beat the Rockets. What are the Warriors doing beating the Rockets?
You talking about the new look Warriors?
Huh?
The new look Warriors?
No, I don't even think it was the new look Warriors.
No.
It was a while ago, and I think it was a blowout. But because I didn't expect that, because the Rockets have Steven Adams along with Sengun.
I think that the Rockets, they're the team that, to me, if you're going to say a team might be too young and inexperienced, I think that's the Houston Rockets. This is to me, this is a team, a dark horse. I did not expect the Houston Rockets to be the third seed. I think they're the third seed right now. I could be wrong about that. But I don't think anyone thought the Rockets were going to be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference or possibly a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. I remember some people bringing up the Houston Rockets as a playoff contending team, but to be a top 3 contending team, I don't think anyone thought that. So the Houston Rockets, to me, are a dark horse team, but they might be a team where youth might get them in the postseason. You mentioned Steven Adams. Obviously, he's been around the league for a while now. He has postseason experience, but by and large, that team is a bunch of young players and guys who haven't won anything, have no experience in the postseason. But I think they're a quality team. They have a quality head coach.
Should you want to take a call? We should wrap this up soon. We got a long week of live shows coming up. For people who didn't hear earlier, the Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best show is on tomorrow. And then Robin and I are going live Monday and Wednesday. And we're going to pull in some special guests to join us on those days. So that'll all be 9 a.m. Just so you know. And we appreciate everybody that's been super chatting and commenting.
Yeah, I mean, AOH, like I said, I don't even think we need to take any calls. I'm not saying no disrespect to anybody out there, just because so many super chats. I mean, you guys were calling in. You guys really came in, and you went off a lot of super chats. I don't know if you got to all of them because there was a lot, I know. So yeah, you guys really contributed. You gave us a lot of things to spin off and to talk about. So if there's anybody else that sent a question or something in, and we can wrap it up if you want to do that. Or it's your show though, AOH. So by all means.
No, yeah, the comments have been good. Did you see? I'm trying to find any the super chats that I missed.
Someone asked us if Scap will be there with us.
He's been kind of quiet lately. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get Scap as a special guest maybe on one of the days next week if we can. But a lot of people's schedules were on different parts of the country, different time zones. So a lot of times it's hard for us. But yeah, we want to try to get Scap on there too, because we know Scap is a fan favorite, man, and Scap always got good insight.
I'm still looking for that poll. I don't know why I can't find it. Well, if I missed anyone's super chat, I apologize. So what?
Oh wait, someone wrote here. You have up here I didn't see this one. We used to celebrate trash talk.
Yeah.
Jordan and Bird were masters of it.
I don't know.
Kilroy.
Yeah, today's so weird because people, on one hand, get their feelings hurt really easy, but they also want to say that they pretend that they are into trash talk now, and people talk trash when they shouldn't now. That's what's weird. Like you getting beaten down by 30 points and still talking smack. I just don't get it. There's a time to shut up.
When you talk about trash talk, or you mention guys like Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, some of the great trash talkers in the NBA, guys like Kevin Garnett, who are known, Gary Payton, some of these guys that were known to jaw back and forth, with players, there comes a certain level, or there's supposed to be a certain level of respect that is done with. And it's supposed to be about the game, so to speak. And, Larry Bird used to tell guys what he was going to do and then do it to them. That's the level that Larry Bird was out, that he was at. So, do we talk about Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, used to get into it with guys, but it used to take away from them. It didn't take away from Michael Jordan. So he used that to his advantage, right? Getting guys off of their games. Guys were psyched out going against Michael Jordan already, but then the trash talk would happen and they would get out of their games. But there was also, a level that these guys did it with. Now, like you said, it's weird. Guys are sensitive now, and the rivalries are not really there. So these guys, like you said, there'll be guys doing the too short gesture with their team down by 25, 30 points in the fourth quarter. Like, what are we doing here, guys? It's like sometimes when you see in football, you have guys celebrating a touchdown. Your team is down by 40, dude. What are you celebrating? Give the ball to the referee and get your ass on the sidelines and line it up because you need a bunch more of those. So stop celebrating like that. It always makes me think about Barry Sanders, man, and the class act of Barry
like you've
Sanders
been
and how
here.
he was.
Act like you've been here. The Barry Sanders quote.
And I'm all about celebrations, man. I'm all about celebrations. I'm all about guys getting hyped and showing their personalities and showing their charisma, showing that side of them. I'm all about that stuff, man. When the NFL was trying to take away celebrations, I was completely against that, man. Everyone should be out there and be able to go out there and do things with a certain flair. But we also must live in reality. We also must understand where we are in the game. So if you're getting blown out, there's no need for you to be in there showboating or doing stupid stuff. Or once again, if your team is up big, there's no need for you to be in the game. You guys should be chilling on the sidelines.
65% of the people who participated in the poll said that the Grizzlies are not legit, and yet they're number 2. This is exactly why I get concerned. I'm like, who do I know to take seriously?
What was the poll? I missed that. What was that, LH?
Oh, I asked if people thought that the Grizzlies were legit or not. 65% of the pollers said no.
Really? Wow, 65%. I thought that maybe more people would have said that the Grizzlies were legit. Maybe they're thinking like a legit contenders, I'm assuming, I guess. So yeah, like I told you, see, I've been telling people over the last several years, I've said it. Even last year, I was saying it. To me, there have been no real legit great teams. If you think about the teams that have won the title over the last 5 years, they've been really good teams, but they haven't been great teams. Like I'm talking about great teams with consistent, consistent winning. There's a team that wins a championship, like the Milwaukee Bucks, haven't been back to the finals since, right? Look about the Phoenix Suns. They went to the finals in 2021, haven't been around it, sniffed it since. So we're talking about some of these teams. The Denver Nuggets won it, haven't been back. The Golden State Warriors haven't been back. We think about the Celtics. What are they going to do? I told you, I don't think they beat anyone. They're not a proven team to me. So, like you said, who are the real great teams or the really good teams? Maybe the Oklahoma City Thunder, maybe the Denver Nuggets, maybe the Houston Rockets are a quality team. Are the Memphis Grizzlies for real? Are the Dallas Mavericks legit? Are the Lakers now a contending team? Who are the really good teams on the Eastern Conference? Are the Celtics legit? Are the Milwaukee Bucks going to be good now with the acquisition of Kyle Kuzma? Does that even do anything for them? Or are any of these other teams good? The Sixers were supposed to be good this year. What happened to the Sixers with Paul George and Joel Embiid? The Knicks, are the Knicks legit? No, I don't think the Knicks are legit. The Atlanta Hawks, are they good? So really, the Cleveland Cavaliers? They might be the really only good quality team in that conference.
And that's so interesting for you to say because the Celtics have a lot of quality players. The Celtics are a quality team, and yet I've seen them do some things this season that make me wonder where they are mentally. Michael Silberg says, thank you, by the way. And thank you back, Michael. Thank you for being here and supporting.
Real.
I put up a question. Okay. So who do you got coming out of the East? I asked if the Cavs are going to be the faves to come out of the East.
I mean, listen, I don't want to ramble on. I think we have to look at it this way. Who am I rooting for? I'm rooting for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the New York Knicks. I would love to see the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals matchup because to me, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a good story because they've kept their pieces together over the last several seasons, unlike a lot of these teams. I mean, even though they just got rid of Karis LeVert, and they made that move, I wasn't expecting that. He was there. I thought he was a really integral part of their team. But they got a good piece. It was a good swap, I think. But they kept these guys together. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell now, Darius Garland. So they've developed some cohesion, some consistency. And the New York Knicks. I'm a New York Knicks fan. I'd like to see the New York Knicks versus the Cavaliers. That's like a 90s style of NBA Eastern Conference kind of vibe almost. It would be interesting to see that matchup. But the Boston Celtics are going to be a tough team to beat. They got talent, the Boston Celtics. To me, they were just never proven last year. Let's see what they do this year. But what could the Milwaukee Bucks do? Because to me, Giannis is still the best player in that conference, man. He's still the best player. So if you're the best player, then if he's playing great, he's got to play great. But if he's playing great, he gives the Bucks a chance because he's a two-way problem.
Oh, I know what my poll should have been. Who's going to watch the All-Star games today? Who's going to watch the dunk contest? Are you?
That's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be an interesting one. You know what's crazy? I told everybody I watched every minute of last year's All-Star game, and I did it purposely because I was going to do a live stream, and I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to really have the full scope of what was going on. I didn't want to watch bits and pieces. So I sat through the entire game. I watched the entire game, and I told people, man, that I felt like in the second half, I didn't see one player do an actual sprint down the court. I don't think anyone sprinted in the second half. It was a bunch of jogging and lollygagging, guys goofing around, missing dunks. And the game was played on the three-point line, like we all know. So the game was very lazy. And it was really sad. So I don't know if I'm going to watch this year's All-Star game because, like I said, I watched last year's because it was East versus West. And I wanted to see what these guys were going to do, and they goofed it up.
Well, since we are going to be back tomorrow morning on the usual Sunday panel, we'll be able to talk about it then. So let's wrap up today, and we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back Monday, and we'll be back Wednesday. Thank you, Sports and Fitness Rants, for bringing the energy, bringing the facts, setting the records straight. Thank you, everybody who came through to support us and to add your voices and resist what is happening in the NBA. And Robin, close us out.
Yeah, and once again, you guys know, shout out to everybody in the chat. We are truly, truly humbled. Once again, you guys came through for us. Like I said, we didn't really even have time to take phone calls today because of all the super chats. And like I said, the support that you guys continue to give our live streams, man. I really, really enjoy being on here with my man AOH, the czar of the video footage. And I keep telling you guys the same thing. What I'm telling you with the audio that I'm giving you is being verified through the video footage that my man LH is putting out there for you guys, man. This man is working hard. He's doing the legwork for you guys, man, to go out there and get educated. Remember, the true basketball fans are standing up. It's about holding the standards of the past all-time greats, guys. We're fans of basketball. We're not hating on basketball. So we'll see what the All-Star game will be this season. If it's going to go even worse than it was last year. I don't know if it could get worse. They say never, but I don't know if it could get worse than it was last year. So we'll see what they do. Like you said, Airways, we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Sunday live stream. And we got a crazy week for you guys this week, man. We got some lives coming up. Like I said, we're going to hit you guys Monday and Wednesday at least. And maybe we'll have another day that we can get in there. And like I said, thank you very much to all you guys out there. Airways, thanks again, man, for having me on, man. I'm truly, truly humbled, man. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
See everyone tomorrow.